long time, though, because as I've said before in my videos, even Eisenhower had a program back in the 50s where he bussed over 1.5 million Mexicans back into Mexico, deep into Mexico. And obviously, they had stated years later that the statistics said that a majority of them had already come back across the border. So how does that happen? Well, if they want to be over here, they're going to find a way. And so Linda Parker, thanks, Linda, for coming on. Shut down the borders. Yeah, I think President Trump at some point, if he initiates his executive orders, I don't know if they'll be followed by everyone or every government agency, but at some point, President Trump is really going to need to take control. And I think he's done the right thing with the military. In actuality, I think they should build some military bases down on the border so that they can control and patrol some of the area and help the border patrol out, obviously, because I don't think they need to do it in the north border, but on the southern border, I think that's a major factor for the United States citizens themselves. But Blue Healer 100, thanks for coming to the chat. He says that live cams are showing our military tear gassing them right now. Keep them canisters rolling. Yeah. It's funny, but then again, it's not funny. These people just don't get it. But anyway, they may be desperate. I totally understand that, but at some point, this stop. At least it's probably never going to really stop to an extent, but it's getting out of hand. I might do something for tomorrow on a couple of videos that I have that I've been researching since I got back today. So any questions, guys? John Detmer, thanks for coming to the chat. Going to be fun. 200 million armed U.S. citizens, the Army and Marines, and someone thinks 5 million means something. Yeah, you're right. I think a lot of people are not turning a blind eye anymore to this type of thing, and they can see that those like Nancy Pelosi, who have actually been in power for over 20 plus years, either as a minority or as a majority in the House, haven't really gotten anything done. It's still the same as it was 20 plus years ago. We're still having trouble vetting these people, doing the right things, and actually bringing in the right people. I know that if you have money, you can pay and get in a lot quicker. That's actually not really that fair, but if they have money, I guess the United States government thinks that, well, then they can pay taxes and they can, afford to be in this country and help out the system that we're in. But obviously, these are people who have very low means and financial ability, obviously. But I don't think this is not uncoordinated. This is a coordinated attack, and they think that they're going to get away with it. But I think they don't realize what President Trump's intent is to protect the American people. So, Linda Parker, thanks for coming on the chat. I believe in the Second Amendment, of course. I do too. As you can see on the screen, chaos at the border. It may be a little delayed, so you'll see it here in a second. But obviously, a woman and her obviously 2 children. That's not funny. Those children have no clue, and they're innocent as far as I'm concerned. But it's real convenient how they have. That's Fox News, and it's real convenient how they have the pictures on that one person specifically. So, but as you can see, as we see more pictures. A majority of them are men, ladies and gentlemen, maybe 70 to 80% at least, so it's just at some point it gets out of hand, and we need to take care of our own country first before we can try to take care of anyone else. But the Mexican Interior Minister even stated that they would immediately deport migrants who tried to violently breach the border. The Mexican government described the events today as acts of provocation that were far from helpful for the migrants' objectives. Yeah, I think they think they're going to bum rush the border, and I don't know who's convinced them of that, but they're crazy to think that that's really going to happen. A few of them may get through, but at some point, it's going to get ugly, possibly. Gilbert Jones, thank you for coming to the chat. Gilbert says, from the mountains of Southern California overlooking Fort Irwin, send in the Leathernecks. My family have been here since New Mexico was part of Spain and raised the wall 50 feet with crushed glass on the top. Well, if they can't get through it, they'll try to get over it or under it, that's for sure. And, maybe not set landmines, but we definitely need to have some bases on our border. I think that's where President Trump needs to spend some of that military money, is protecting our own borders besides trying to control other countries to begin with. I know a lot of people that have gone over to Korea and gone over to, obviously, Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan. Why are they over there? We need to protect our own people first, but obviously the main industry's interest is over there with the oil and so forth. But Gertie Thomas, thank you, Gertie, for coming to the chat. But I do believe the president of Mexico has to step down if he cannot help his own people. Well, I don't know about Mexico. I don't really concentrate on them too much. I don't really do any type of research, but I can say that, we had our chances. We really, I wonder sometimes what would have happened if we would have taken over Mexico back in the 1800s during the Mexican-American War. I was actually in Santa Fe, New Mexico over this last weekend and Thanksgiving. And the actual admiral that was in Mexico City at the time that could have taken over after they had chased Santa Anna all the way back down there, supposedly he was laid to rest in the National Cemetery there in Santa Fe. So it kind of brought back the things that this country, I guess, passed on. But now, as you can see, it's crazy and corrupt and a lot of drug running going on, a lot of human trafficking. And I wouldn't doubt that these children that you see in these pictures are just either their own children, then they're just desperate, which I can understand that. Women and children need to be looked after first, I believe, because you just never know. They could be a part of the problem, but they could also be running from persecution and so forth. And those children are innocent as far as I'm concerned. But Stacy Cranmer, thanks for coming to the chat. Stop protecting other countries and focus on our own people. Well, definitely. Not just the American citizens, but people who are in this country legally, I guess, that have their green cards, that are legally going through the process as well. So I definitely agree with that. But let me know some of your opinions, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's late on a Sunday evening for some of you. Probably most of you that are commenting are out here on the Pacific Coast like I am. But definitely let me know what you think. Yeah, Kathy K, child abuse. I think so too. Obviously, at some point, can they nourish and keep those children healthy when they're on the road like that? And when they're on their own, those kids are almost barefoot. I mean, what are they doing? It's ridiculous. Or was that on purpose? Did they have them take their shoes off, or make them look destitute and desperate before they took the shot? Yeah, I don't know. Stacy Cranmer says legal immigrants are our people. Legal immigrants are our people. Yeah, of course. If they're going through the process, they've got a green card and they're trying to get their citizenship. I totally understand that. That's to me, it's almost an American citizen, and they're legal enough. We need to protect those people too. I understand that. Moki7, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Moki. I think a lot of these people in the military are Dems. They said they are leaving the border December 15th. We need conservative military members there, not pansies. Well, if they aren't going to follow orders from the executive, or which the chief, which is the president, it doesn't matter what general or admiral says anything. If President Trump says it and they don't stay down there, then that's liable for treason anyway, or actually for AWOL. Military members will be on AWOL. So I think that's just something that some Nancy Pelosi supporter sent out there, troops are not leaving on the 15th. You know, I'm sure many of them will go home to their families during Christmas, but you're still going to have people that serve. And you know what? There's a lot of military people that serve overseas that are always gone during Christmas, Thanksgiving. So we can't really bring that up and feel sorry and make that as an excuse. There are military personnel that are going to be in Korea, going to be in Afghanistan, still fighting on Christmas Day. So God knows, ladies and gentlemen, you can't really bring that up as an excuse, but at least they're going to be in the vicinity, and maybe they can be closer to where, at some point before or after they can visit their family during Christmas. So